Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. We're all set. Yes. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 29th, 2023 revised order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GL chapter 38, section 18, meeting of the Berkshire Hills Regional School District School Committee will be conducted both in person and remote through March 31st, 2025. Agenda items listed those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed. Items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting is being recorded by CTSB, the school committee recorder, Berkshire Eagle, Berkshire Edge. Once transcribed and approved, minutes will be made public and posted to our website. Okay, we have a short agenda. It doesn't mean a short meeting, but we definitely have a short agenda. We'll start with the superintendent's report, and that's the budget discussion.
Okay, so what I'm gonna share.
Hold it, guys, need to take a roll call vote, because there are two online, sorry, my fault. Roll call vote, Sarah,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Andy,
Aye.
Bill.
Yes.
It's Bill vote and then Bill Field. We've done
Yes,
this
yes.
a long time, guys, come on. Diane,
Yes.
Sarah.
Here.
Rich.
Here.
And here, it's a full house, go right ahead.
Okay, so at our last meeting, you charged us with coming up with additional reductions, and we did that. And what I'd like to do, particularly for our home audience, is go through those relatively quickly. I'll share it on the screen in a sec, and just go through them item by item. And then there may be some discussion, and I defer to Steve on that, and then potentially some motions. So let me share it and go through it. These are the additional reductions in a couple places, increases. So reduce school committee dues by 5,000 to a new balance of 7,500. That should let us be members in the groups we need to be members in, and participate in that conference if you choose to do that. Reduce the business office supplies line by $4,000 to a new balance of 16,000. Reduce the contingency line for salary by $40,000 to a new balance of $220,089. Increase the third grade position that we had previously proposed to decrease by $79,000 for a new balance of $337,011. Reduce the English curriculum purchase by $56,000 to a new budget of $14,000. Reduce a special education program at the elementary school by $80,000 for a new balance of $462,606. Reduce a special ed tutor salary at the elementary school by $5,000 to a new budget of $8,000. Reduce hardware at the elementary school by $5,000 for a new budget of $10,000. Reduce at the middle school text for $10,000 to a new balance of $7,230. Reduce supplies and materials at the middle school, $10,000 to a new balance of $29,325. Reduce professional development at the middle school by $13,000 for a new budget of $2,000. We anticipate using some grants and title funds to invest in professional development. Reduce the salary tutor line at the middle school by $4,000 to a new balance or new account budget of $4,000. Reduce the high school assistant principal for CVTE by $107,500 for a new account balance of $122,720. and increase the PE position to 0.5 at the high school by $33,343 to a new account budget of $173,809. The total additional reduction to the budget would be $250,157. And obviously, nobody likes to engage in cuts or reductions, and I think we made the best out of a particularly challenging year.
So the school committee can ask questions, make comments. Rick will make a motion, which will be rather complicated, and then we can have more discussion if need be. So anyone have any questions?
Yeah, there were a number of things that were brought up by many, many letters. And I just didn't want discussion of those things to be lost. And so even though we're cutting certain things, there were things that were brought up that were very important. And so if we're talking about not getting, say, a new ELA curriculum, if there were a number of things that were brought up about reading, reading, but I don't want the discussion of the budget to just be done and have that fade away. Because there were a lot of letters that we got that had some concerning things that don't really even have to do with the budget in some cases. And so if we have a whole closet of reading material, or if there's something different that needs to be done, say with that, or if we're getting rid of a position at middle school about makerspace, is there some way that we can have an after-school thing, or robotics, or something like that? Are there different ways that just because we're cutting things, that we can have some things that people are happy about, and different ways to do things? Can we be creative in different ways?
Yeah, no, I think it's important that you bring it up, and I've spoken with some of you individually in responding to some of the email and letter writers about different things. That there's some places where we're figuring out ways to reallocate existing resources to cover some of them. So the computer science work at the high school, it's likely an existing science teacher is going to pick up 2 or 3 sections there. So that's a good example of it. That the design position at the middle school is another one, and we're exploring, are there opportunities to do things in the after school? Cynthia would speak, or could speak to some of the work she's trying to do around curriculum and literacy instruction on a less robust budget, right? So I think all the things you're bringing up are important, and I don't think that the conversation ends. I think the conversation just continues on those. So I hope we keep talking about a lot of it.
Yeah, and can we have some follow-up from the principals regarding the things that we've cut, and then how things look in the face of these cuts, and how what has changed?
Our future.
I think so. And then, we would hope that and I should have opened with this, I sort of spaced. A couple of nights ago, many of us were on a big call around sort of state advocacy and lobbying. And one of the issues that's become abundantly clear this year is this isn't only a Berkshire Hills problem, it's a Massachusetts school and district problem. And a lot of it's tied up in the state funding formulas and how resources are allocated to schools. So we're doing our best to make our own changes and adjustments, but the bigger changes that need to happen as districts across the Commonwealth come together, and they do like a foundation budget review process and look at that, and some of that advocacy and working together started. Steve and Sarah and I were on that call, and a lot of really interesting things came up, and there's likely to be a meeting at UMass Amherst in a few weeks, and some of us may attend to try to push some of that. No.
And I'd just like to thank the CBTE vice principal for really excellent work and kindness to students and the community. It's
Yeah.
great. Excellent work.
Excellent. Anyone else?
Well, I said, thinking about innovation and going forward and, new ideas. I mean, my mind in terms of this, for the makerspace, middle school, my mind sort of circled back to a discussion 2 or 3 weeks ago where we were discussing middle school kids coming up for JV to, where they have skill sets, then coming up to the JV squads in athletics. Is there any obstacle, if capacity exists at the high school, for some of these kids that are in this industrial design class to maybe come in and, because it's not that far away. It's walking distance, right? So something to think about, because I just.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it is a good idea, and we have kids going up for some other reasons, and then we've got high school kids going down for other reasons. I think we can, let me take some time to talk to the principals about that and see what we might be able to come up with there.
It's like when I'm watching the bird here, these type of things come in my head.
Yeah, right.
Anyone else?
I mean, I'll just say, I said my piece last week about the necessity for the cuts. And I don't think that's a debate much longer. This is, as I said at the beginning of this bus, this is my third round of serious cuts here. And I always struggle with the process and how we get there. And I always default to that, cutting things is the most difficult and most important educational policy decision that's made. And that's best made by the educators and not by us, I mean, we provide guideposts, but just like I love the school district so much, just like you guys all do. And I think I know what's good for it, I really do, and but to kind of circumvent the role of the policymakers on the educational side, I think is just too risky. I don't agree with all of these cuts. If you ask me to carve up another $250,000 cuts, these wouldn't be them. Some of them would be, some of them wouldn't be. But for the system to work, I think there's consensus on where we need to go, and I think this is the best way to go, and I trust the administration 100% that they are making decisions that are in best interest of the district, whether on a line item here, line item there, I may agree with it or not. I think is not the important measure, so I'm gonna be supporting the proposed amendments.
Anyone else? Watching that Zoom meeting the other night doesn't make this any less painful, but it makes you realize that the system is broken. And hopefully, it's not just us, it's not just 6 towns in Western Mass, it's statewide, and maybe, I don't have 100% hope, but maybe there's some hope that there'll be some repairs to the system rather shortly and then long term. I don't know how you felt, sir, but I kind of felt that, okay, we're not alone in this. Doesn't make it any easier, doesn't mean some of this isn't on us, but really, there were 135 people on the call, and it was encouraging to see some of the solutions that they had. And even if 20% of the solutions get adopted, it'll help us. Rich, a motion.
Sure. I move to amend the proposed FY 2026 budget as follows. Reduce line item 4, school committee dues by $5,000 for a new account balance of $7,500. Reduce line item 24, business supplies by $4,000 for a new account balance of $16,000. Reduce line 692 contingency salary by $40,000 for a new account balance of $220,089. Increase line item 104, third grade by $79,000 for a new account budget of $337,011. Reduce line item 270, text English for curriculum purchase by $56,000 for a new account budget of $14,000. Reduce line item 144, special education program at the elementary school by $80,000 for a new account budget of $462,606. Reduce line item 148, special education tutor salary at the elementary school by 5,000 for a new account budget of 8,000. Reduce line item 400, hardware at the elementary school by 5,000 for a new account budget of 10,000. Reduce line item 286, text at the middle school by 10,000 for a total balance across all text amounts of $7,230. Reduce line item 357, supplies at the middle school by 10,000 for a total balance across all supplies accounts of $29,325. Reduce line item 125, professional development to middle school by 13,000 for a new account budget of 2,000. Reduce line item 154, salary tutor account at the middle school by 4,000 for a new account budget of 4,000. Reduce line item 76, the high school assistant principal CVT at the high school by reducing by 107,500 for a new account balance of 122,720,000. And increase line item 134, 0.5 PE teacher position at the high school by 33,343 for a new account budget of 173,809 with a total additional reduction of the FY 226 budget of $250,157.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion and a second discussion. Hearing none, it's a roll call vote. There will be 3 votes tonight, so this is the first. There's one to adopt the budget and one to adopt the capital, the operating and the capital. Sarah,
Yes.
Allison,
yes,
Jason,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Bill Vogel,
aye,
Bill Fields,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Sarah.
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I, it's unanimous. Do I have the next motion, please?
Yes, I move to approve a fiscal year 2026 gross operating budget of $37,204,010, which results in a net operating budget of $35,079,010 after use of school choice and tuition funds, with a total net operating assessment to the member towns of $29,813,792.
Second.
So I have a motion, a second by Andy, discussion. Hearing none. Sarah,
Yes.
Allison,
yes,
Jason,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Bill Vogt,
aye,
Bill Fields.
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Sarah,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I, it's unanimous. Third motion, please.
Yes, I move to approve the fiscal 2026 capital budget of $33,750 with a total net capital assessment to the member towns of $33,750.
Second.
I have a motion and a second by Andy. Any discussion? I don't think we've ever had a capital budget this low.
Yeah.
Roll call vote, Sarah,
Yes.
Allison,
yes,
Jason,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Bill,
aye,
Bill,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Sarah,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I, it's unanimous. So we have adopted the budget. Couple pieces of housekeeping tonight, one to do with the budget. We had a tentative meeting scheduled next week that is canceled, so take that off your calendars, March 13th. Andy had one thing he wanted to bring up.
Can I make one comment on the budget before
Of course.
further? I just, and I know we went through this all last year, but with the budget that was amended and approved today, the net assessment in the Great Barrington will be the lowest it's been in 5 years, I believe, in terms of increase. And I think that's incredibly important. The town of Great Barrington in recent memory unanimously supported the budget every time. And it's imperative that the leaders of the town of Great Barrington now undertake their responsibilities to ensure that that there were equal and proportional cuts made on the town side to ensure that there's not an undue tax burden put on and the Great Barrington residents.
Thank you.
Yes.
Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda, but, it's another bird watching moment. I was thinking about the March 31st deadline for the legislature to expand hybrid and remote meetings. Right now, as it stands, if something doesn't come through in the next couple of weeks, we would have to revert to fully in-person meetings. So I drafted a letter. What I would propose is, it's not on the agenda, I'm not gonna make it a motion. What I was gonna make it a suggestion to the chair that he send a letter in our name. And if anybody objects, then we won't do it. So, this is the letter. We, the members of the Berkshire Hills Regional School District School Committee, urge you to take immediate legislative action to extend the provisions allowing public bodies to conduct remote and hybrid meetings under the Massachusetts Open Meeting Law. If the legislature does not act before March 31st, school committees, municipal boards, and other government bodies will lose a critical means of ensuring public access and participation. Remote access to public meetings has significantly improved civic engagement. Over the past several years, parents, educators, students, and community members have been able to participate in school governance without the barriers of travel, work conflicts, caregiving responsibilities, or inclement weather. Virtual participation has allowed more voices to be heard and has strengthened transparency and accountability in decision-making. Removing the ability to conduct hybrid and remote meetings would be a serious step backward, making it harder for the public to engage with local government. The infrastructure for remote access is already in place and the benefits are clear. There's no justifiable reason to roll back this progress. We strongly urge you to support and advocate for legislation that extends remote meeting provisions. Public participation in government should not be restricted by unnecessary logistical barriers, and ask for your leadership in ensuring that access and engagement remain priorities in Massachusetts. Thank you for your time and attention to this important matter. We appreciate your commitment to transparent and accessible government and look forward to your support on this issue. This letter is addressed to Representative Davis and Senator Mark.
I'm not hearing any of, Bill, go ahead.
Do we seriously believe that the governor has a notion not to extend?
Not in the government, it's not in the governor's purview, it's in the state legislature. It's an open meetings law.
Okay,
Now-
so do we seriously believe the state legislature will stop hybrid meetings? It's insane.
I believe a fix is drafted. It's a matter of how fast it moves through House and Senate and gets to the governor. So I think making noise and being on record helps.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
To not do it, but if you're counting on the legislature to do something,
Yeah.
you may want to.
Speedy fashion.
Yeah.
And I thought, every time Steve opens the meeting, he refers to pursuant to Governor Healy's such and such. This isn't really Governor Healy's decision?
It was an emergency order done by the governor as a result of the COVID national emergency. And the final authorization on like governor's orders or national emergencies lapsed like a year ago, and this was one of the last things that hung over. So it's not, I mean, it's not an emergency anymore. It's gotta be a legal change.
And there are municipalities that have gone back to fully in person.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think it's a great letter, Andy. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we will send that out.
Yeah.
Any public comment? Seeing none, by unanimous consent, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.